Hey everybody, what's going on? Well, the day has finally come and it's an exciting one. My car is finally here. My brand new Porsche Cayman GTS 4.0 has arrived at the dealership. And so today is the day I am going down to Porsche Stevens Creek to collect my new Cayman. As you can see, I'm pretty excited. So it's been a long time coming. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I put my deposit down in July of 2022. So it was a wait of over a year and a half. I got my allocation in July of this year. And so then it took several months for my car to get built in Germany and then shipped via boat from Germany all the way over here to California, and now the car has finally arrived at the dealership. Here's the first photos of the car that I received from my salesman, James, when the car arrived at the dealership, and that was my first look at my actual car. In the past, I know some people got photos directly from Porsche of the car while it was being built in the factory in Germany, but apparently they don't do that anymore. Or maybe it was due to the car being built at a different factory than they used to. As I mentioned before, my friend Oleg also ordered a 718 Cayman around the same time that I did, and from the Porsche tracking website, we could see that both of our cars were being built at a factory in Osnabrück instead of Stuttgart. By the way, my friend Oleg did get his car first, so congratulations to him as well. He also got a gorgeous Cayman GTS 4.0. His is in ice gray metallic paint, which is somewhat in between a white and a gray, depending on the lighting. Fantastic car, and I was very excited to see it when it arrived about a month ago. We did go for a fun drive together, and he is getting used to the car and still going through the rather tedious process of break-in period, which I will talk about a little more later. All right, so let's go get ready and head down to the dealership where I will be picking up my very first Porsche. All right, so we are here at the dealership, Porsche Stevens Creek. It's a bit of a rainy Sunday morning, and the dealership hasn't officially opened yet, but my salesman James arranged for me to come in a little early and meet with him to check out the car and get all the paperwork done. So let's head inside. All right, so James did show me the car really quickly. It's still dirty. Apparently they had it parked outside, and so they're going to give it a wash before they bring it in and deliver it to me. So in the meantime, I guess I can wander around here in the showroom and check out some of the cool cars. Okay, so I've finished the paperwork with the finance guy. It's a little surreal, but I haven't even driven the car yet, but I just handed over a fat check for the down payment. The car is officially mine, but yeah, let's walk around and take a look at some of the cars here in the service department. I guess this is also the delivery area. 911 Dakar. Pretty cool to see one in person. Look at that ground clearance. Oh, that is so
couple
cool.
of gas tanks up there, or any tanks for whatever, you know. And that's it, man. This is. I told everybody, like, this is built for the Bay Area roads. This is built for 880.
It's true, sadly. Yeah, that stretch between here and Milpitas.
Oh yeah, that
Super bumpy.
that's a deadly stretch.
Oh man.
For him to clean up.
Oh, okay. They're still working on it.
Yeah, just let you know right away.
Okay, fantastic. These 993s are worth a lot nowadays, aren't they? I did get a little excited when I saw this shark blue 911 GT3. However, it's the right color, but the wrong car. I thought it was my Cayman, but it's a GT3. Maybe just some wishful thinking that I could afford a GT3, but at least I get to preview the shark blue color. Hopefully we'll see mine soon.
A few moments later.
This is it. Here we go. Woohoo! Isn't this a pretty color? I think the Cayman looks so good in this color.
Christmas came early for someone. How do you feel? Are you excited?
Excited. I haven't actually driven it yet.
How long did you wait for?
Over a year.
Wow. Where's the key to prove it's yours?
Where's the key? I got 2 keys. Ta-da!
Let me see. Wow.
It's like a little sports
It's so
car.
cute. You get 2 of them, right?
Yes. Where did I put the other one? Right here. Vroom vroom.
Wow. Very nice.
So they say to lock the door, you just push like that.
Push
And
it.
then unlock.
Push where?
Here. This like indent.
Okay.
And just push it.
It's a nice blue. I like it. You like it, honey?
It's very bright. Very attention getting.
This will be as new as it'll ever get.
I know. I guess you just gotta enjoy it. All right, once the paperwork was done and the sales guy walked me through the car's basic features, the car was all mine to take home. But first, I had to protect the front end of the car for the drive home, as I didn't want to risk getting any rock chips on the front bumper on the long drive home. So I had a roll of this temporary paint protection film called Track Armor that I brought with me, and I spent the next 45 minutes or so applying this film to the car. This stuff resembles clear packing tape you'd use to tape up cardboard boxes, and the results? Well, I wouldn't say it's attractive. But it'll get the job done, and that way I can keep the front end as pristine as possible until I can get proper paint protection film installed on the car. All right, time to head home. Well, first drive on the way home, and of course it had to rain.
How was the ride?
Very good.
Good?
Uh-huh. It was a little scary at first. I was trying to figure out how to make the windshield wipers work. Because it works in the opposite direction than the normal car that I'm used to. Well, all right. I did make it home safely, but I do have to say the track armor film on the front end of the car did cause some unexpected consequences that I did not anticipate. One thing was that I must have put the film on a little too thick over the parking sensors, because as soon as I pulled out of the dealership, the sensors started going kind of crazy. They were just beeping and booping and giving me all kinds of warnings about objects in front of my bumper, which, in fact weren't there other than the film that I had applied on top of the parking sensors. So I think the parking sensors are a little sensitive, and they were picking up the track armor film on the front end of the car. And so every time I came to a stop or very low speed in the car, it started just beeping like crazy, and it got really annoying. And since it's a new car, I hadn't quite figured out everything. I didn't know exactly how to turn off the park sensors. There's a button apparently up on the rear view mirror that you can just press, and that turns it off. But of course I didn't know that until I got home and looked it up. Anyways, managed to get the car home, notwithstanding the annoying sounds that the car was making, unhappy because of the protective film on the front end. And so the other thing that happened was, of course, it was a rainy day, and drove through quite a bit of wet weather on the way home, and I hadn't realized that some of the water from the rain was going to get under the protective film. So when I got home, I could see that there was a lot of water kind of trapped between the bumper and the film, and I didn't feel great about that. I just felt like all of that moisture being trapped on top of the paint and under the film was not going to be good long term, so I felt like I had to peel that film off right away. I had originally planned to leave that film on for actually a couple of weeks, because I don't have an appointment to install the paint protection film, or PPF, on the car until the first week of January, unfortunately. The place that I use, Premier Protective Films, great place. I've been using them for years, but they're very busy, they're very popular, and so you actually have to book them out several months in advance, believe it or not. I had to book my appointment when I knew that my car was close to arriving. I think I booked it back in September, and at that point they said, oh, we're 3 or 4 months out in terms of booking appointments. And so the earliest date that I could get was actually in the first week of January of 2024. So pretty wild. So anyways, I do think it's worth the wait. They're very good at what they do. Like I said, I've used them before. They did the PPF on both my Lexus and my BRZ, and those have held up very well. So I'm very pleased with the work that they do, and they are one of the very few PPF places that I think I trust and know that they're going to do a good job and as close to perfect as possible. So that's where I'm taking my Porsche. But anyways, what I found myself having to do is peel that PPF, that temporary track armor PPF, off the car right away, because I just didn't want the moisture to stay there trapped underneath that film and on the paint. If you've ever had well, now I'm really dating myself, but back in the day, before there was Clear Bra or PPF, people would actually install these vinyl or leather bras essentially on the front ends of their car to protect the paint, and they were always recommended to be removed if it ever got wet, if it was raining or snowing or anything like that. If you ever had the chance to get any kind of moisture trapped underneath that leather or vinyl bra on the paint surface, then it was a very bad idea to leave that bra installed on the car for any long period of time. I think it was either the fact that the moisture was trapped there on the paint, or just the fact that it would then cause potential rubbing between the vinyl or leather material and your paint, that in the end you would suffer some sort of long-term consequences. It would either kind of discolor the paint or maybe cause some sort of wear or markings on your paint, which of course goes against the whole idea of having a bra or protective layer on top of your front end. You're trying to protect that paint, not do bad things to it. And so I felt like I had to take that temporary protective film off of the car right away. And so I peeled it off, and I did notice that the water seemed to kind of mix with the adhesive being used on that track armor, and it turns into this kind of milky white kind of goo. So not great. So I'm glad I did peel it off, but I did notice that it ended up leaving quite a bit of glue residue on the paint. And so it's kind of a mess, and I am going to have to use some Goo Gone, which I have good success with in the past. Great for removing kind of race rubber, tire marks, tree sap, and bird poop, all that kind of stuff. Whatever happens to stick onto your paint and is hard to remove, the Goo Gone usually works pretty well on that. So I'm gonna bust out a bottle of Goo Gone and try and clean off that glue residue from the front bumper before I bring it in to the PPF installer in a couple of weeks. And so, yeah, until I get that PPF installed, I think I'm gonna be very reluctant to drive the car very much. The worst thing that could happen to me, I think, right now is to end up getting a bunch of rock chips on the front end right before I get a chance to get the car PPF'd. It's kind of my pet peeve. I hate seeing rock chips on the front end of my cars, and that's why, like I said, I have PPF on all of my other cars as well. And so it's going to be a little bit of painful times, but I am going to just not drive the car very much, trying to keep that front end pristine for a little bit longer until I can get the car over to the PPF installer at Premier and let them do their magic. And then once that PPF is installed, then I can drive the car and really enjoy it the way it was meant to be enjoyed. Just drive it and not be worried about rock chips. And that's kind of the freedom and peace of mind that I think PPF gives me. And so I think it's worth waiting for, even though it sucks. And I will have to wait just a little bit longer before I get to really drive the car very much and take it out on the back roads, put some miles on it. And that takes me to sort of the next pain point that's coming up, and that is the break-in period. Most new cars, my experience with the Subaru was 1,000 miles is what you needed to do, driving sort of gently, taking it easy on the motor and the car in general, just not pushing it too hard for the first 1,000 miles. But after looking at the Porsche owner's manual, it turns out Porsches require 2,000 miles of break-in, and that's just double the pain, double the frustration, I think. The fact that you basically have to go easy on the car. You can't drive over 75 miles per hour, and you have to keep the engine under 4,000 RPMs. So yeah, it's just gonna kind of suck, because you're not gonna be able to rev out that motor. You're not gonna be able to hear all of the sweet sounds that flat six motor can make until you get through those 2,000 miles. And it's kind of wild, because sometimes you shop around for some of these used but fairly new Porsches that are sitting on dealership lots or even private sale, right? And some of these people are selling cars that have very low mileage on them. If you're selling like a 911 or a GT4 or even a Cayman GTS, and some of these people have not had the car for very long and have not put very many miles on the car, they're basically selling it with, say, 3,000 miles on it or 5,000 miles on it. And I'm like, man, well, if they did things properly, they babied the car for the first 2,000 miles, hopefully, and then I feel like they haven't really had very many miles to actually enjoy the car. And so it's kind of a shame that you see these cars with such low mileage that they're probably just barely out of the break-in period. So, well, here's hoping that, if you are buying a used but fairly new Porsche, here's hoping that the previous owner that you're buying it from did in fact follow the break-in period. And if they did, if you have at least a good feeling or, some sense of confidence about, the honesty and the trustworthiness and diligence of that prior owner, then maybe that is kind of one of the benefits of picking up a very lightly used car with that kind of low mileage, is maybe just the idea that, well, hopefully they did the proper break-in and did it for you so that you can kind of jump right into that car, and if it's got over 2,000 miles, it's ready to go. You're going to be able to jump into that car and drive it, as hard as you want to, essentially. So who knows, maybe if, cars are still a little bit marked up right now, they're a little bit overpriced, in some instances, maybe as much as or even more than MSRP of what a new car would cost. But at least some of the value that you might be getting out of it is the fact that hopefully the previous owner did the right thing and properly broke in the car for you, so that now you can jump in and after a proper warm-up, of course, just rev it out to your heart's content, run it up to red line and enjoy the car driving out there the way it was meant to be driven. Anyways, I feel like I've gone on long enough, and I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. So thanks as always for watching. Stay tuned for more content as I discover some of the nuances, features, new experiences that I'll have with this brand new Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4.0. That is quite a mouthful. I'm gonna have to find a short version of the name for this car. I'll probably just call it the Cayman or the 718, or maybe even the GTS. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think the proper short name for a car like this should be, because it is very long as it is. But anyways, until the next time, thank you, and see you in the next video. Take care.